Hi, welcome to day 8, uh, and we're trying to get our, let's see what this is right here. Trying to close this. Okay. Uh, anyways, today we're going to go into conditional statements. It's basically more if statements, but we want to write an entire program. And we're not going to really care about time too much. It's an interactive session. I advise people that use this stream and this video as a reference to just fast forward to the point that they need. There's going to be a description. It's basically an if else iterator. Also, it's going to have an entire structure of an application, of a script, basically. Not an application. Application has multiple files. We're only be working in one file, right? So that is going to limit. Uh, is basically going to limit uh, over here I, the scope for people that are referencing it, right? Anyways, you have access to the public GitHub where the code is right now up to date, up to the 7 days, including day 8 will get pushed up there. There's the YouTube stream, the LinkedIn stream, the Twitch channel, all that stuff up there, right? So whatever messages come through, they can be dealt with over here. I'll take care of that. So let's kind of get going, right? So again, so we're day 8 conditional statements. So let's kind of build a file out. It's basically going to be a JSON file that we're going to do. It's a dictionary. So it's not a JSON file. It's a JSON format in a data type that we've already covered, in earlier lessons, in earlier days. So we can kind of look at it again. So let's go ahead and start with this really quick. Let's build out our day 8, our Python file, right? Here we go. And right. So the program we want to build is we want to just like write code about a student at a university, a graduate student, right? And for that, we can write a dictionary, right? So we can write a dictionary. Right. We can call it student, right? And then give it that sort of a structure. Name. Program. We can give year. Here is going to be a number, right? So you don't have to. It's going to be an integer. then GPA. A GPA is really a float, right? So nothing. Why is this crying? Is it the structure that's a problem? I wonder if I put empty quotes. Put empty quotes. Okay. That doesn't make me happy because I want to be able to put integers as well as data type. I'm gonna have to. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about it, right? So we're gonna have to go through this. Research interest. Research interest. What can we put? What other? Okay, so think of it this way, right? So earlier, what we did is we went through our dictionary that we created yesterday. If you remember, we created an empty dictionary, and then we wrote a bunch of functions, and we passed data to those functions, like add, right? But we didn't do append, right? So if we've added Bob1 and Bob2 here, we can also do update contact, right? So because we have these two created, we can do update contact, and we can give Bob2 and a new telephone number, right? Like that. So if you run this code, right, you have an update for Bob right here to this new number, right? Bob was found in contacts. They printed, this is the entire list that we printed out for list. List 2 prints what's in there, right? So you see this update that happened or whatever. So that's how that update function works, right? So the idea here is the same, right? Like we want to create a dictionary and then we want to write functions that are if and else statements around this for the student, right? So hey, student, what's your name? And then you enter an input to the, the computer asks you on the console what your name is, and you put your name in. Then you say what program you're in, what year are you in, 1 or 2. Graduate school is typically 2 courses, 2 years. For undergraduates, it's 4 or whatever. What courses have you taken? How many credits have you earned? What your GPA is, and what's your research interest, right? We can also put thesis, right? So we can do a Boolean, like if you're working on thesis or not, right? So we can do that, and whatever that is, right? And then we can write a function around that, and then we can probably write most kids in college work, right? So do you have a part-time job? Do you have a part-time job? Something like that, something along those lines. Also, if I'm missing quotes, which is Let's see that. If I just give this without quotes, they're gonna whine. Just give a value. Yeah, it's going to not take it unless this is in quotes. Then it'll take it. Wild. Okay, so it can only, but that is a key value in a string. And I know for a fact dictionaries should be able to take integers. So maybe it's the editor that's giving me a hard time here. Let's try and let's put a print statement in here. Let's put a couple of print statements in here. Right, and then let's debug it right there. See if it takes this. This should take it how it is because I put everything in quotations. What I want to do is I'm going to copy paste this and put values on it in the debug console and see how it behaves. So right now, if you type in student, there it is, right? So if I put this in here and I delete this, yeah, let's just see if it takes these two. It's giving me an error. Okay. Okay. I don't have anything but for name. Don't have anything but for program. So let's do a let's create an object that asks for the student's name. I want to create it after instantiation of the dictionary, right? So let's see if this runs. This should run. Creates name. Now, if you passed in the value just here as name, but you took this and you put it on top here, then it wouldn't mind, would it? That is okay. Do you guys see what that is right there? All right. So the data type, this is actually a string, right? So if you put your name in, if you run this program right here, and you put your name in there, it's automatically concatenating it to the so same thing over here, right? So you want to put all these values, like if you want to do working thesis, for example, right? You have to create an object here equal it out like that, and then it works, right? So let's put in values for this really quick. Okay. Research interest. Right. Right. Let's copy this. Okay. Oh, it'd be nice if I could highlight all the lanes, right? What is it? Shift control? That's all of them, I think. Trying to fat finger stuff. Courses, what would we ask? You could give a list of courses that like, so we could build a list, right, of courses and credits, etc., whatever, right? and then put that in. Like same thing with program, right? So we're asking in the string what the program name is, right? So it's like enter your program, and we could give something like this, right? We could go example CS Masters of Science in Computer Science, right? Enter your current year. Will be the year is a whole number, right? So it has to be an integer. If it's enter. Oh. It has to be input. And it has to be wrapped in a float. Enter GPA. Okay. Out of 32. Okay. You working on a thesis? Yes or no? Boolean check. D. Well, let's see if the input is yes or no, right? So do a Boolean. Okay. So here's something interesting, right? Right. So when we call this dictionary, right, if you see this working on thesis or working on part-time or whatever, both of these have to be Boolean, otherwise it won't work, right? Um, that's why you additionally want to do uh, this thing is going to enter a string, right? So you want to create an object that you can use later uh, for your Boolean statements, because your Booleans are gonna want that. Uh, so I worked on this earlier. So I worked on this program earlier today for a little bit, trying to put it together, and that's how I ended up using it. It's like I ended up creating an object with this input, and then using that object because it's a string, because it can have yes or no value, right? So you could, when this thing runs, if you say, oh, I'm not working on thesis, the answer is no, in which case it'll just, the if and else check around the working on thesis, because each one of these is going to end up into a function, right? So we're gonna end up writing our functions for each one of these. Um, that's what's gonna end up happening here. Um, and that's what we want, right? So are you working it up? And same thing with the part-time job. You're either working at a job or you're not working at a job, right? Are you working at a part-time job? Yes or no, right? So the Boolean check, it makes more sense to just put the Boolean check, well, underneath, right? So let's take this and let's put this here. You can call it input. Input is equal to part-time job. Part-time job. Yes. So take that, right? Same thing with working on thesis, right? So working on thesis input, let's see what the input was. Then input was working on thesis is equal to yes. So if it's yes, we have these 27 and 28 objects created over here that are going to ask us. So right now, if you run this program, it's going to ask input, 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 input this, input this, input this, input part-time job. And working on thesis and part-time job are already going to have yes or no. And then it's going to print out, let's just print out student. Let's just print the whole dictionary after it's loaded, right? So let's do print student, right? Student. Why is this giving me a hard time, man? Boom. We don't need any of this because this is just looking at specific things like the program they're in or whatever, right? So let's run it. enter your name. There you go. Enter your current year. I wanted current year to be 1 or 2. Enter your current year 1 or 2. And it's an integer. See, the code says it's an integer, right? So, 1 second. Enter the number of credits you have earned, 24. Enter your GPA, 4.0. Are you working on your thesis? See, this is the thing. So, are you working on your thesis? Yes or no? Right? Yes. Are you working a part-time job? No, I'm working a full-time job. Oh no, I did not put this in quotes. So I sabotaged my own run. Anyways, so this is kind of done, right? So we've done, like, a little part of our program right here. What we've ended up doing is we've ended up building a dictionary, and when we've loaded it, it didn't print the dictionary. We were trying to print the loaded dictionary, man. Okay, let's run it again. We're gonna go quick. MS one, 4. This is the float, so it takes a float. Ooh. You have to also put the lowercase stuff. You can't put it in uppercase. So you see how this worked out for us? This is the build, right, of building a dictionary. So that's important to know. So if you get data in production, right, an immense amount of data, and you don't know what the data is going to be, you can read it instead of input, you can read it in, right? And then you can just put the values in or whatever and write a parser to parse the data and load it into your data structure. And you can force it into a data structure like this, right? So you can kind of do that. Should work out pretty good for you, right? Okay. Let's do if you notice here, courses taken hasn't been dealt with, right? So we didn't deal with courses taken. So let's deal with this section of the dictionary here. The reason I kind of put this off, because right now everything is just a single value, right? So name, so and so, program, blah blah blah, year, blah blah blah. And if you notice, like, it did take integers as well. Like, I suspect, like, the data types take integers. I know they take integers. The data holders of that kind of value, you just have to put that in there. So if I put over here program and I copied it like this and I put int around it, and I went up here and I commented out program, it still whines because it doesn't know what program is. It's like, well, give me a program too, buddy, so you could wrap that year, for example, in an integer over here, like that, and get away with removing this int over here. But I wouldn't do it like that. It would just create. It doesn't really matter because I'm writing the program, right? So I already know what to enter to make it work. Um, if I I would want to make these statements on the console a lot more verbose to get the exact input from people. Like I wouldn't, this would be a lot more writing here. It wouldn't just be me demonstrating a dictionary build. There would be a ton more here, right? So let's look at and then courses taken. I I want to take in a string, right? And then I want to iterate through it with a for loop, right? In order to do that. So it's kind of like what I wanted to do here. Quick message. Okay. Here we go. Going back to let's do courses taken. Right, so let's do something like this, right? Plan a list of available courses. So we have this. Let's go over here. Let's run our debugger really quick, right? Enter your name. What happened? Oh yeah, I fat fingered it. See that? I put a dot in there and I fat fingered it. I fat fingered the debugger. So I'm gonna rerun the debugger. In case you're wondering whether it runs the debugger, it's F5. And if you want VS Code to actually go ahead and you want to create a folder called .vs code and say that you want to create a launch.json file and you want to put that in there, right? So you want to put that code in there, and that'll make it run. Going back to this. Here too. Okay. We've got to the point that we wanted to. We're going to paste this in here. Oh no, not that. This code. Paste the print statement in here. Okay, so this is going to basically say these are your available courses, right? So you can say this right underneath it, just like so, right? Right. So it's gonna create a variable and it's gonna ask you with this, right? There's something called a split function. This is how it runs basically. And what you want to do is you can put a comma in there, right? So you can put enter courses with commas, right? and it's going to ask you for an input, right? So you do that, and then evaluation. In this case, you oh no, I'm sorry, I'm breaking Python badly. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I want to use this, man. If I can't use it in here and develop, I prefer to develop like this in the debugger, but we can always put it in the file and say, hey, print out whatever courses you want, right? And then that can go into courses taken over here. We can alter this and then make that section of the code work. We can also comment controls. Let's go back and see if I remember what was it Alt and Shift? It was. Cool. Alt and Shift. Was it not? It is Alt and Shift. Save it. Stop the debugger. Run the file. Why is it asking me for my name? But because I gotta comment all these out too. No. Oh well, we can do it now, right? Because we have the power of grayskull, which is highlight everything instead of using some crazy alt shift on the Windows, and I don't know what it is on the Mac. We'll figure it out. But this right here, by commenting, oh well, this looks like it's gonna die too. So we want to comment this code out here. We are going to be evaluating everything to the student, and we want to get student. We just want to print student dictionary. Okay, so this right here should allow us to develop the courses, right? So we're gonna do algorithms, statistics, discrete math, credits earned. Name error, credits is not defined. It is courses taken. Never mind. I uncommented. I'm trying to be fancy. I commented the wrong line. There we go. Run it again, buddy. Okay. Let's just do statistics, right? So loaded to dictionary, courses taken, statistics, and it puts it in a list. Because it has this split running on it, the data type, I would have worked in the debugger and gone through the specifics of why it is. Maybe I can still do it. Maybe I can break Python again and have it. Don't know why it's not letting me do it. Why aren't you letting me do it, man? Cool. I'm just gonna put it in. The debugger, anyways. Ooh, it didn't let me do it. Anyways, but we have run the code and we have seen it work. And this is another way to go ahead and develop, right? You can develop directly in a file, whoop-de-doo, like normal folks, and not get into the nitty-gritties of breaking your programming tools. The beauty of this is now that we know that all of this works, this works. This works. No, I don't like it. I don't like it. Alt Shift. Boom. Works like a charm. That worked well. Okay. Save it. Okay. So that's how you load a dictionary. So dictionary parameters, variables, and dating those variables. And I don't know why this is here. Student name disappeared and program turned int. So I definitely need to fix that. What am I doing, man? Okay, so we've done that. Let's look at a year check. So now for each one of these, right, we know that years are supposed to be 1 and 2, right? So, I wonder if we should keep working on courses a little bit and then develop a little course logic. We could do that. Have all this here. Let's do that, right? So let's say, you know, required AI courses. And courses, good stats. Should do algos? Yeah, we should do that, right? So we do this, we do this, we do this, right? What are the AI courses? Artificial. Oh my God. Okay. Math courses. You want to do linear algebra 2, chemistry, calc, or something. Let's see what we put up here. What did we do here? AI machine learning. Algos, discrete math, stats. Stats, I forgot stats. Did I put stats? Stats. Stats. Statistics, not stats. And that's another thing that when you program, if you use certain variable names in a particular section of the program, you can't just shortcut them or put like stuff. Like, the computer won't pick it up. It'll just error out saying, "Hey, you didn't put statistics." So I just can't put stats on line 38 when I've specifically said enter statistics. Well, let me take that back. You can do it right now in the program, but later on, I've developed some if-else statements around this. If it's looking for that particular input, like statistics, and you put in stats, then that if-else statement that looks at that required math input, that requirement on your input, it's not going to function properly. You know what I mean? So you don't want that to happen. Stop. Okay. See, it says it's asking you to enter the course of the commas, right? So, and then required algo courses is algorithms, right? And then GPA 32, no, 4.0, right? So, but credits, did I put credits here? Credits earned 24, I put 20%, so credits out of how many? 32. So minimum credits have to be 32. How many to graduate? 60? Whatever. Okay, so we're gonna leave it at 32. Minimum credits. Where did I put minimum credits, man? Oh, here. Control X. I want to put it right here with this. All right. The reason we're stacking these variables is because now if you write an if-else statement that's going to look at specifically this particular part, which is courses taken and credits earned, we're looking at these two variables. So we want to build if statements around this. We want to stack our data in one place too. Keep in mind the entry for this, what it is from the user is going to happen first. Once the input is done, we don't really care where this is, because we reference it in our code, right, in our if statements. Because remember, it runs in a linear fashion, one after the other, right? So that's how it runs. I don't know why it runs in a linear fashion, but it does. I think what we can do with the right. Required are these courses, and we're inputting data. So we're asking what courses have you taken. So that's completed courses, no? So that should be completed courses. What are completed courses? Courses that have been taken, right? So those are your complete courses. which is the list of courses. Courses taken, courses taken, courses taken, completed courses. So what is, let's get our debugger running. Let's just print it. Let's see, it's gonna ask us for now. It's gonna ask us for all of this stuff over here. Let's comment this part out. Let's comment courses taken. It's asking us for this stuff. Okay, so let's just say we've taken this statistics. X right. So what we're gonna do is for course in completed courses. I wonder if I could. What's gonna happen? It's gonna go. This. Yes. No. Course. No. I'll go stats and it prints all of them. Awesome. All right. So what we want to do is we want to write a for this we want to write a to write list comprehension, except it's for loop comprehension for course and courses taken. So you guys see that, right? For course and courses taken, print course, right? So that's that. Completed courses. So we can do this over here. Do completed courses, completed courses, of course, and required AI courses. Okay, it's gonna say that, right? So what this really means is that for course and student courses taken, right? So this is gonna give you a list, right? And then you can run if course in is in this required AI course list as well. So if there's a match, name that variable as course, and say these are the courses that have been completed, right? That's what I did earlier today. That's what that set of code is. Same thing over here with both of these, right? So that's basically what they're doing. These variables that are being created, if you print these, if you hit all of these in required AI courses, then you don't have any remaining courses. But if in the entry you put, so what you want to do to check this is you want to do print remaining AI courses, right? So makes complete sense. It's funny because you write code and then like you have to go through it and you're like, I was smart and did list comprehension. C two four yes. This is machine learning and artificial intelligence. That's all I had to do, right? So if I delete these, it's asking me enter the courses, right? So and then it says remaining courses. So what are my remaining courses? My remaining courses is, hey, if there's a match over here, append it to this. So what I have to do is if there's a complete match between the required courses and the remaining math courses, then I don't have any, right? And we can do that with a length, right? So we do something like this. If len of this of required AI courses is equal to length of completed AI courses, print that else is required. This is completed, right? So we've used required and we've used completed. What about remaining AI courses? What does remaining AI courses does? It takes these required courses that we have over here, right? And it says, hey, required courses for everything inside it, which is math and stats. No, required AI courses. Sorry, it takes over. It says AI and ML. Hey, iterate through AI and ML. That's what this for loop does. And it says, hey, if the course is in student courses taken, which is we're going to enter, we get this list of what courses we've taken, right? So if we have machine learning, and we have AI fundamentals entered in already, should say. Oh no. If I have AI fundamentals in machine learning, then I have the, well, let's say I only enter one, right? Then it doesn't match because then the length wouldn't be the same, right? So this else statement is going to get triggered, right? So we'd say print remaining courses, right? Okay, so enter your name. What program are you in? Oh, this. Didn't I fat finger anything? Remaining in student courses, machine learning. What? Double click this or run the debugger. Right. Put the caps on there. I got to this. My. All right. Let's look at Why does it say machine learning, right? If you go above to what completed AI courses, so the issue could be over here, right? For courses, so what is student courses taken? That's what they took, AI and machine learning, right? So for course in this, what is this? If we get rid of the if statement and we just put this does a list comprehension. Well, obviously this is the problem, right? So what's happening is the list comprehension is busted. So instead of iterating through this entire thing, it's just storing one course in there instead of the whole list. That's the issue. Well, let's see. And then if course not in student course blah blah blah. So let's do that too, right? Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go here. If course not in course taken, for course in this, if course not in this. Okay, let's go. Okay. So what it's saying is that it wasn't entered, but we know it was entered. Look at the debugger. What is wrong with this set of piece of code? All right. Stop it. Let's see. Course is taken. Split this. Course taken. Split. enter it. We want to strip it. We want to add it to courses taken. Okay, this is all it is. Who said programming isn't fun, right? So you write all this stuff and the system just doesn't want to play nice. I forget what time we started, 8 or something. We don't stop. From what my understanding is, like, once we get this working, we're going to pause and then we're going to go up. So think about it, right? So what we've done basically is we've dealt with courses entered and courses taken. The name, program, and year, this should be a simple if-else statement, right? Well, we don't even have to. We've already done this, actually. We already have this working. We've taken care of these. We have an integer input for the GPA. For AI research interest, we have to deal with the courses. So the way we take the courses, that is going to dictate what the research interest is if you're working on a thesis. So the Boolean has to say, if you're working on a thesis, yes, then you go into the research interest, which we're hardcoding to AI. So if you're working on a thesis, yes, and you've satisfied the AI requirement, right? And then you can just say that your research interest is artificial intelligence. It just spits that out for you, right? We can just make the program, we can hard code the program to do that little section of logic. So I mean, we've gotten through the heaviest part of this, the meatiest part of this program, which is this part, right? I need to put a Band-Aid on my foot. Excuse me. Well, I tried. We could do a list of available courses. So since we've taken both, the else statement here should say that we've completed all the required AI courses, and it should just say and well, then the remaining courses should not be anything in it, because the remaining courses runs on the input and says that if not, yeah, this logic should work now, man. I don't understand why this is not functioning properly. There it is. Essential. Completed all AI courses. I probably hadn't saved it. If you go back, I've probably not saved this. It's giving you an empty list, and it's saying that all the completed AI courses. It's saying because the length is matching, it's actually doing a length operator. So it's printing this out, and it's not even running this part of the code. Wow, that took a minute. don't know if we need this or this. Let's see. Length is 2. Okay. Yeah, so we don't need this course completion, this redundant code. All right. We dealt with courses taken, we split it, and the input happens. Okay. Switch to the AI check. After we enter all this stuff, we can do this. So we can, let's do, so where is the print dictionary? Print program. Let's put this at the end. So we're going to print this, the student, the whole dictionary, the program, the student. So load the student dictionary. So student profile. Loaded student profile. Much better. Okay. Okay, so that's how we want to order these things. Then let's write a little statement for the year, right? So we do if student year equal to, it's a numeric input, so if it's 1, print something, right? Something. elif student year, is it here? Here, right, here is equal to 2. Print something else. Do that. If student blah 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 print something. So basically, if you put any negative or positive integer as an input, it's going to give you an answer saying, I don't know what you are because of your input here. If you look at this, this says gives you options 1 and 2, right? So you have that. Same thing you could do for a GPA. So if your GPA and input is, I don't know, how do you go rid of GPA? You could do GPA. So you could do, let's go here, let's go here, let's go student GPA is the key, right? So if the GPA is greater than equal to, it's a float, so it takes 3.5. 3.5, okay, yeah, greater than equal to, so you're doing great or something, right? Go GPA status. GPA status. If GPA is less than equal to 3, you do 3, right? You do 3.5. So it's less than 3.5. What's it going to be? We're going to give a second comment here saying that it's in GPA status. Could I say else? Yeah, we don't want to give a space, I think, but I'm trying to think if I want to give the new line right here. If I want to give it inside or outside. Will it give it to me in here? I don't know, I think it's supposed to be inside. It's going to give me some outputs if I run this program again now. So already got that. It's got my GPA. This. Yes. What do? It didn't print any of this stuff out. Why? Oh, it did. Look at this. GPA status, excellent standing. So it did that. So this ran. And then second year student focus specialization and thesis. Enter your course second. Okay, so the second year student ran 2 because I put in year 2. I put this. So this ran 2. So that ran, then this ran. So what is the code before this that ran? Enter your courses, comma separated. Enter your courses, comma separated. Courses taken. Enter your courses. I wish I could put a new line over here to give it. Okay. Anyways, it does function just fine. We need to give a new line to the input statement. Loaded profile AI. Loaded student profile. Okay. What's left? Working thesis part-time job. I can put out second year student GPA status. Does this append it here? No. We want this in the beginning, I think. We want this line. The beginning after the input happens. Here. All right. Got chat overlay going on over here. So get a little did this. We did that. We did GPA check. Right. We did a year check. Dictionary load. We did a year check. We did a GPA check. We did an AI check. Part-time. See, you remember these? Part-time job check and working out on thesis check. We should do these two now. That's what we should do. If student this is which is true, If student why is it whining? What did I do? Man. Oh, I didn't have a print statement yet, so that's why. and if and else tab else. There we go. Took me a second to format that sucker. Excuse me. Okay. I knew the logic is right? I was thinking it through, like it makes sense. So you have two keys, and you just work on, see if the Boolean is yes, then it's going to print out that the research track is selected, right? So if you hit yes, then it's automatically going to print out what your focus is on, AI. That's your interest, right? Because, well, that's what it is. It's like if student research is equal to artificial intelligence, which it is, then it's going to say this is the hard coded part, right? So if I was to give more um, options, then you could maybe go for something else, right? But that would just make this like even more involved than it already is. So we could do that. So we have this. We could try and run the program at a second year 24 for working on a thesis, working on a part-time job. Okay, there we go. Second year student, second year research thesis option selected, research track, and research focuses AI. So that's because this is hard coded here that the research focuses AI. If you said research and intelligence wasn't AI, that'd be fine. But it's you can also write a Boolean here saying that if the required AI courses are met, the length is equal to true, then print out that the focus is on AI, right? You can do that. Right. So if you look over here, you're going for courses taken. You're gonna add that to this, working on these and this, and so right now the Boolean logic is only working on these two. You want to add courses taken in there, and you want to add that too. So, but that would just make it would make the development a little bit more involved than we need right now. Well, we could go for it, right? So we could just nest another if statement in here. If, and this is not something, if is not, it's not something you should kind of go for, right? Just break it up if it has to be. And because it's linear, make that only run in here, right? So be like, so what you can do is you can take this like whole thing and cut this block out here and put this block underneath this over here, and then put in a statement regarding this, right? if remaining courses is equal to null. So here we do it like this. So if remaining AI courses is equal to empty list is equal to this, which it is, then do all of this. Then do all of that, right? Which it is, in fact. So then it would print out all this stuff or whatever. And we can test it by running it. There you go. So this would only run if this is an empty list, which it is, in fact, over here. Right, so it's done that Boolean check too, so we did that too, right? We could do a credit check. You guys kind of get my drift with this, right? What I did with the GPA. Like what I did with the GPA was 3.5, and I wrote some stuff out of the console saying, you're in good standing, bad standing, work on your stuff, whatever, right? Same thing you can do with your with the credits you've earned, right? So we set a minimum of 32, right? So you can say, hey, you're getting close to graduation, you're about to finish, you graduate, or whatever, right? You could do that. You could write something for your math courses as well, because like you did for the AI courses, right? So you did this, and you did you built these two around the AI. You can build something like completed and remaining for math. You could do completed and remaining for algorithms, and you could. So what we can do in our next session is we could complete algo and math requirements in program, and yeah, that's pretty much it, right? What was the other thing we were gonna do? We were just gonna check one more thing. Credits, and write a Boolean, and write if else for credits remaining. Right? We could do that. What else is left, man? That should do it. Right? We could write we could put a based on that, right? Based on remaining courses, we could put out timeline program. So we have that, right? And we could work on job description too. We were if the credits remaining job part-time job, because we have that data. Okay, so we will complete these three things in the next our next run around on this, right? So these are the three pieces that are pending for day 8. We'll bleed into day 9, and basically what this whole rigmarole was working on user inputs, building dictionaries with data on them, and going ahead and after doing dictionary enrichment, manipulating the data that comes into the system, right? So on a global scale, right, on a larger scale, like uh, I gotta, I don't know what this person's saying. So whatever, distracted me. So what I'm going for here is that uh, you have data coming into a system, right? And that you're developing code on a system, right? And you have to manage the input somehow. A lot of times it's vast. And when it's in that kind of uh, quantity, right? You want to manipulate it, and this is an excellent way to kind of deal with it, right? So go ahead and deal with it like this. If you have any issues, let me know. You guys, I will probably see you tomorrow online, and we will continue to work on this, and we'll write out a couple of more functions, right? Not a couple of more. We'll write a couple more control statements to manipulate the data that we've built, right? And then we'll move on to our next topic, right? But I want to spend a little bit more time kind of flushing out these functions or this logic a little bit more, so that we're actually able to fully use this dictionary that we've built out, right? So you can kind of think of this in a way, because that's how I thought of it. I just wrote the dictionary and then thought of the logic that would go on it. And that's how I've written so far. And I think that's probably the best way to go about dealing with data structures and having the ability to manipulate them later. So, food for thought. What do they call it? Chicken soup for the mind or something. You know. But okay, thank you for joining me online and viewing this, and I will continue with you on day 9 of our basics lineup, where we hammer down into the basics of Python. Um, it will lead us into intermediate topics and application builds and algorithms, but I am a firm believer that the basics can trip you up if you're not foundationally sound on them. And if you have that going, then you'll end up on top. So just stick with me through this. Get through these if you can. Watch them on 2x if you need to. Maybe if you're using these for reference, you only need certain parts of the program or certain parts of the stuff that's coded. That's really fine too. Again, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you guys later.